If you've seen some of my past videos, the latest C64 Fix video and the Christmas kernel video, you have probably seen this adapter that I made. So this is for using an EEPROM in place of the original kernel ROM in my C64. And it's been a while since I used KiCad, and I thought it was time to brush up my skills again. So I got these in the mail. Let's build one of these and see if it works. So before we start, I'm just gonna use my multimeter, which I have in continuity mode, and I'll just check the PCB to make sure all the connections are correct. I won't show the whole process on video, but as I said before, this whole row here from the bottom pin on the original kernel ROM, which name is 901227-03, this one. All the left pins are the same on the original ROM and on the EEPROM. So I would expect all of these to be connected. And they are. So I'll go through the rest of the pins off camera. I have found all the things we need. So we need the socket for the EEPROM and some headers to go in the C64 socket in place of the ROM. And I should really be using rolled pin headers, which I unfortunately don't have, so I'm gonna have to use these ones. We'll have to do for today. So let's just go on with the soldering then. We have to solder in the pin headers first, because this socket is obviously blocking for these solder points down here. So we'll start with the pin headers. Solder station is on, so let's just continue with the soldering. Do the headers first, as mentioned. So we'll just pop those in here. Now it might be a little bit hard to solder in these pins for the socket afterwards, especially on the inside, but we still have to do it in this order to be able to do it at all. So these pin headers are actually stuck in there pretty good, so we can just do some soldering. Let's hit them with some flux first. That's one row done. I think that looks acceptable. Let's do the other one. There we go, looks decent. Looks okay so far. Let's do some quick cleanup before we put in the socket, because it will be harder afterwards. Got some IPA on this cotton swab. Let's try and remove some of the flux and solder residue. That should be fine. We'll put in the socket now. Let's line the notch up, so the notch is up, and we'll try and solder that in. Let's do some flux again. Be careful not to melt the pin header plastic. There we go. That's one end. Much left to do but to try it out, I guess. So let's bring out the C64 and let's have a go. There we go. Sounded like I broke something, but I think it's okay. We will take the Christmas kernel from that other video. Maybe I remember to link it up in the corner again. So let's just put the newly soldered adapter into the socket. There we go. It looks a bit cleaner than the DIY version. Then the Christmas EEPROM in there again. There we go. Let's hook up power. And there we go. We should be good to go. I will turn it on. That does not look good. So we get a blank screen, and I do see that we have a signal because we have that gray line there. So So there is definitely something wrong. Better turn off the power. So this is the Christmas kernel again in the homemade adapter. Let's try this one. Okay, so that works. So it's probably something with our new adapter then. So we're gonna have to take a closer look at the new adapter. As I said, I already tested all the connections. So what I didn't test is that I didn't test if any pins that shouldn't be connected are connected. I only tested all the pins that should be connected. So I may have messed something up on the schematics. So let me remove the EEPROM and do some more measurements. So as I said, I already tested some pins. So I tested like this pin, for example. So I tested that every pin that should be connected is connected, but what I didn't test is if any pins that shouldn't be connected are connected. So there might be a connection that's not supposed to be there. So let's just start going through the pins one by one, I guess. I'll see if I find my... so I do have some... It's gonna be off camera, but it doesn't matter. So I do have the schematics here for both chips. I did already check that we don't have a direct short between ground and VCC, and we don't. Let's just check VCC. So that's VCC should be there and there. Yeah, so that's good. We also have VCC there because that's the right enable pin. It's the right enable pin on the EEPROM, so that's active low, so we pull that high. We have A13, which goes to ground because that is not used. Same for A14. Yeah. And both grounds are connected together and no shorts to VCC. So all the power stuff is okay. Let's, I guess we just check the data and address pins, I guess. So we have 3 I/O pins on this side, these 3. So let's check this is data pin 0, and I'll go through all the address pins to see if I messed something up. And the data pins. That's good. Data pin 1. I should go through all the pins. And data pin 2. So far so good. Let's go to data pin 3. It's harder to do. Looks good as well. Data pin 4. Whoops. Yeah, there is no connection there. So data pin 4. Oh. So it's that pin 4 from the top. That's A8. So that's a connection between, that's not good at all. We have a connection between data pin 4 and, yeah, so data pin 4 and 4 is the same pin on both chips. And it's apparently connected to A8 on the EEPROM, which is also the same pin on the kernel ROM. So that's definitely an issue. I open 4. Yep. Okay, so that's probably our issue. I'll double check the rest off camera, and we'll have a look at what happened there. So this is the schematics for the adapter, and it's nothing special. It's just it's hooking up the address line to the address lines and the data pins to the data pins. D4 is definitely not connected to A8 on this schematics, but I think what may have happened is that when I drew this, I may have gotten a connection to A8 at some point, because it does cross here, so maybe I got a junction there. I had a look at this off camera, unfortunately, but D4 down here was definitely connected to A8, which is this one. There was a trace going down here on the side, and that trace must have come from an earlier version of the schematics, because the error wasn't on the schematics anymore, at least. So I probably fixed it, and the layout, PCB layout, just didn't update. I also fixed the PCB by removing that trace that shouldn't be there. And all the other pins seem fine, by the way. I went through them and checked, so I think this is the only fault on the board. Now that we know what was wrong with this adapter and exactly what the problem is, we can have a look at the board and see if we can easily fix it, because I think we can. Okay, so I found my microscope so I can give you a good look at this. So the trace goes from this pin here and all the way up to this pin. So this is the trace we need to cut, and that should be easy enough. So let me just do that. See if we can get a close up. There we go. Yeah. So that trace should definitely be cut there. And that's basically all we have to do. So it was D4 to A8. I have to double check, that's pin number 4 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so no connection. Good. I think we're ready to give it another try. Let's put the adapter back in. And Christmas kernel once again. Line up all the pins. Notch is correct. Looks good. There we go. Let's give it a go. See what happens. There we go. The adapter is fixed, so that's good. Very nice. Well, that's it for this video. So we've finally gone from this crusty homemade perf board thingy to a manufactured PCB. And even though we had some issues, we were able to fix them pretty easily. And I can easily order a new batch with the fixed PCB layout. Now if I do that, I want to make this whole thing a little bit narrower, because I think I will have an issue if I try to put two of these adapters next to each other. I think it's just a tiny bit too wide, and I think we can trim off enough on both sides to make it possible to fit one adapter in each of these sockets. So for the basic ROM, the kernel ROM, and also the character ROM. So that's one improvement I would do if I order new ones. I might do that eventually, but I'm not doing it right now. No! Why did I do that? There we go. Or actually, there we go. Or maybe, no. Well, that works, I guess. I was trying to do. There we go. Bye bye.